Dave Egema is a Republican from Michigan, I should say. He's part of the Republican National Committee in Michigan. And he passed on a letter on Facebook that was a little bit questionable. It's, as you're about to see, I'm going to quote it, so questionable that not only did Democrats turn against him, but so did other Republicans, and a group of Republicans have been asking for his resignation. So what in the world is so bad about this letter that he posted and was apparently proud of? Well, let me quote you from it. First of all, it says, look, you know what? You got to fight back against this homosexual groups, and they're coming to get our kids, etc. It says in the first page, or, quote, or you can wait until one day your child comes home and says, Mom, I think I'm a homosexual. Like, that's how it's going to go down. So you get the tenor of it on the very first page. And then they quote, I love this, Frank Joseph's Statistics on Homosexuals. You know this is going to be good. One study reports that the average homosexual has been between 20 and 106 partners per year. The average heterosexual has 8 partners in a lifetime. If that is true, that is the best case for being homosexual I've ever seen. Like, you're going to go tell straight guys, no, you should only get laid 8 times in your life. Meanwhile, they're getting laid 100 times a year. I think that a lot of guys might think, where do I sign up? You're not really going in the right direction there. If we could hook up with 100 girls a year, believe me, we would. Okay, we just can't. Now, this amusing so-called study continues. Many homosexual sexual encounters occur while drunk, high on drugs, or in an orgy setting. Once again, doesn't sound that bad. And second of all, I believe that there has been a couple of heterosexual encounters that were done while high on alcohol or drugs. Okay, I know, only the gays do it, please. And now here comes the awesome made-up stats. Homosexuals account for 3 to 4% of all gonorrhea cases, which doesn't sound that bad, by the way, 60% of all syphilis cases, and 17% of all hospital admissions, other than for STDs in the United States. Now, part of how you know that this is totally made up is, really, you go into the hospital and they're like, okay, yeah, can you just fill this out? We need your insurance information, and please tell us whether you're gay or straight. I don't think you check that box. Okay, so this is, of course, totally made up. And they're like, and look at that, 3 to 4% are gonorrhea cases. That doesn't, it's not that bad. In fact, it doesn't matter. At the very next paragraph, they contradict it anyway. They say, homosexuals live unhealthy lifestyles and have historically accounted for the bulk of syphilis, gonorrhea, hepatitis B, and the gay bowel syndrome. Well, if the gay bowel syndrome exists, I got to give you that one. That probably is for gays. Okay, I love how they make stuff up too. And you just told me that only 3 or 4% of the gonorrhea cases were from gays, and the next paragraph you tell me they make up the bulk of the gonorrhea cases. I'm beginning to think that you might not have had a very professional study here. And then he busts out this number. 78% of homosexuals are affected by STDs. I love stuff like that, man. Just ironically, totally out of, what did I find? Oh, look at that, 78% are affected by STDs, totally made up. Now, then he brags, I don't know if he's bragging or what he's doing, but the guy who wrote this Frank Joseph guy, 50% of suicides can be attributed to homosexuals. Yeah, that might be because guys like you go around making up stats about how they're all diseased and terrible and evil, etc., and then you wonder why somebody commits suicide. Now, look, that's a made-up stat too, so don't believe anything this guy says. But after giving all this hate and discrimination against homosexuals, you're surprised to find out that some of them, because of all the pressure you put on them and told them they're going to hell, etc., might commit suicide. And that everybody they know is going to hate them if they admit who they are. Jesus. Now, Dave Egema, who posted this letter that he didn't write, this so-called doctor wrote, says some publications and even a few liberal Republicans have chosen to take the words of someone else and cast them as my own. Well, they do that when you put it up and you brag about it, right? So maybe you shouldn't have put it up, or maybe you should apologize about it. But he doesn't want to do that, because listen to the very next thing he says. Quote, I think it was a piece worth sharing given the debate over gay marriage that is happening in the Supreme Court. So in other words, you do stand by it, because you just said it's worth sharing. Well, you shared it, and it's probably going to cost you your job, and thank God for that we found out exactly what you're about. That you're an idiot who believes in made-up stats just so that he can hate gay people even more and deny them the equal protection that they are due as American citizens. So, it was not so nice knowing you, and I guess the only thing left to say is sayonara. That's my guess. He isn't out yet. You can take that a couple of different ways. But probably will come out one way or another pretty soon.